going on, Conscious Crew? This is another late night live. Shouldn't be here too long. Some things just came across my desk that I want to discuss. So this is the improv live. Shout out to all of the Conscious Crew vamps who are in the building right now. You know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up this video, because thumbing up not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary. Plus, thumbing up don't cost you nothing, baby. It's free 99. Also, happy hump day. Shout out to all the new subbies. We're on our way to 47K solid. Isn't that amazing? Shout out to you guys, because teamwork definitely makes the dream work. Also, make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter, the dark side of Tumblr, or your OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're out live and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. What's going on, you guys? Happy hump day. We got a lot going on. There's going to be, I think I got a pre-recorded video for you guys later today as well. I want to unpack the Candace Owens and Don Lemon's interview a little bit. And I also saw a press conference following, I guess, the Pennsylvania Police Department after the whole ooting event involving Donald Trump and Mr. Thomas Matthew Crooks. That press conference was very intense between the police department and the media. I got some things I want to say about that as well. So you guys will probably get that in pre-recorded form later today, right after this live stream. I'm going to get to work and start working on my clips and everything so I can get it going. All right, let me speak to some of my Conscious Crew members in the building before we get started, though. What's going on, Carolyn? What's going on, Lady J? Hey, Sin. Hey, Ann Jackson. Hey, Sexy Nessa. What's going on, Darian? Hey, Octavia, Teresa, and Lady D. Hope you guys are doing well. So you guys know that it's been a shit show ever since Trump got popped upside his everlasting wig. You guys know that there's been a ongoing investigation involving Mr. Thomas Matthew Crooks, who is the alleged assassin in question. There's been a desperation to find motive. Of course, there was a search warrant for his home. They took all type of devices, look under his mattresses, girl, took his X-rated material, and they've been inspecting everything. We have a bit more information about Mr. Thomas Matthew Crooks. Also testimonials from his employers, apparently classmates, etc. I'm also curious to know if his family is going to speak out as well. All right, so I kind of want to just go over what has been revealed about the Pennsylvania rally GUN men since. Okay, let me actually pull up a old nasty piece of visual, because I don't feel like sharing these damn screens and articles and all that, so I'm just gonna defer to my thumbnail. Boop. And we're going to be referring to, hey Brittany, what's going on, boo? Hey Amor, what's going on, Rashonda? So we're going to start off first and foremost with oh, actually I'm gonna have to share, never mind, because I got to show y'all this video. Apparently there's a video that's surfacing amongst many. You know, there's video showing Mr. Crooks on the rooftop. There's footage of him shimmying up the rooftop to get in position. There's video of him prior to this event talking about a disdain for the Republican Party and Donald Trump, even though Mr. Crooks is a registered Republican. But I guess like all groups, honey, they are not a minority. and he don't appreciate and like this Republican candidate and peer, honey. Feels like Mr. Donald Trump apparently is a threat to all of humanity, but many people feel like Donald Trump is damn Thor. I mean, is Thanos. So there's that. All right. Well, there's apparently a video that's circulating of Mr. Crooks being bullied in class, which you guys know is an atypical profile at this point of a lot of the mass ooters and a lot of what people would call the extremists and people who typically go this route. Is they have a profile of being othered, being outcasted, being a social reject, being bullied, being poor. These are like common attributes now of the ooters at this point, and they're typically white and male, should I say. All right, so let's get into the NY Post. Okay, I want you guys to first and foremost see this. Let me blow this up so you guys can see this video.
Thomas Crooks. Like this said, take a look at what happened.
So a bully took his anger out on a bully. Okay, so that video that you guys saw, it was captioned as, see here, viral video shows a classmate of Thomas Matthew Crooks repeatedly yanking at the legs of his pants. You guys also know that when we was initially giving coverage to the story in our 7.5 live stream, shout out to you guys for holding that live stream down, that his classmates had also spoken out, and one of his classmates did say that he was very much so bullied, even though some of his other peers, you know, spoke well about him, said that, you know, he was a normal person. He never spoke bad about anybody. He stayed out of people's way. His teachers all spoke well of him, seemingly just a nice guy. However, there was bullying as well, but that's also typical, right? Nice people typically get bullied all up and through school and college and the workplace, etc. You guys also see that despite some of the bullying that took place during his schooling, he still graduated ultimately from Bethel Park High School in 2022, and this would be a part of his graduation footage. Now, let's get into the article. What's going on, Rumors and Tea? Hey, y'all. A newly emerged video shows the GUN men who attempted to... Hold on, did I switch over my damn microphone? I think I did. It's too late for this. A newly emerged video shows the GUN men who attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump on Saturday being relentlessly teased by his peers when he was in high school. The undated footage shows Thomas Matthew Crooks sitting at his desk as a classmate repeatedly yanks at the leg of his pants. As the prankster pulls at his pants leg, Crooks continually tells them to stop, eventually saying, "Stop, you're pulling my leg," while the person behind the camera laughs. Crooks, who graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022, was a loner who was relentlessly bullied, according to former classmates. One classmate of the attempted assassin previously told the Post that Crooks didn't seem like really weird or anything. Quote, "I would have pegged him as a Republican," they said, adding, "He was more of a loner. He probably had a friend group, but not many friends." Okay, so that was a very short article from the NY Post. Once again, footage of the GUN men being teased and bullied and physically assaulted in class, okay? You do not have consent to grab my sexy legs, bitch. All right. We're going to move on over to USA Today, who also wrote up an article. Trump rally Uter, Thomas Crooks, neighbors, classmates, and employer speaks. A 20-year-old man from Pennsylvania fired multiple shots at former President Donald Trump at a rally on Saturday evening. A bullet grazed the presumptive Republican presidential nominee's upper right ear, leaving him bloodied but not seriously injured. One rally attendee was unalived in the gunfire. Jesus, I didn't mean to say that. And 2 others were critically injured, authors later said. Here's what we know. Who is the Uter at the rally? The FBI identified Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the person behind the assassination attempt. Agency officials released little additional information, saying its investigation remains active and ongoing. They did not indicate what Crooks' motive might have been. Crooks worked at a nearby nursing home. An administrative there told US Today that the company was shocked to learn of the ooting and that Crooks had passed a background check for his job. During the ooting Saturday, Trump's ear was injured seconds before he was whisked off stage by Secret Service personnel. One person attending the rally was unalived and 2 others were injured. Crooks was then unalived by Secret Service agents, authorities said. FBI Special Agent Kevin Rodrick said on a call with media Sunday afternoon that authorities found a suspicious device when they searched the Uter's vehicle. Bomb technicians inspected the device and rendered it safe. Quote, I'm not in a position to provide any expertise on the specific components of any potential bombs or suspicious packages, Rodrick added. Rodrick said law enforcement is sending the rifle and Crooks' cell phone along with other evidence to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia for processing and exploitation. We're in the process of searching his phone, Rodrick said. Crooks is registered to vote as a Republican in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, according to county voter records. His voter registration status has been active since 2021. Federal Election Commission records show that in January of 2021, Crooks made a $15 donation to the Progressive Turnout Project, a group working to increase voter turnouts for Democrats. Born September 20th of 2003, Crooks does not have a criminal record in Pennsylvania, nor has he been sued there. According to the state court records, there is no record of him in federal court database either. Crooks worked as a dietary aide, a job that generally involves food preparation at Bethel Park Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation, less than a mile from his home. In a statement provided to US Today on Sunday, Marcy Grimm, the facility's administrator, said that she was shocked and saddened to learn of his involvement. Thomas Matthew Crooks performed his job without concern and his background check was clean, Grimm said. We are fully cooperating with law enforcement officials at this time due to the ongoing investigation. We cannot comment further on any specifics. Our thoughts and prayers go out to former President Trump and the victims impacted by this terrible tragedy. We condemn all acts of violence. The facility is owned by Connect Square, Pennsylvania-based Genesis Healthcare. A job posting from the company for a dietary aide in the Pittsburgh area puts the pay at $16 an hour. Crooks' home address is listed in Bethel Park in the suburb in the Pittsburgh metropolitan area, voter records show. The 3-bedroom brick house has been owned since 1998 by Matthew and Mary Crooks, who appear to be his parents. Telephone calls to the couple were not returned overnight. Near the Crooks' home, Dean SH00TER, 52 years of age, said that he had known Crooks and his parents for years as neighbors separated by only a few houses. SH00TER's daughter attended school with Crooks from elementary school through Bethel Park High, and she remembers him as quiet and shy. Dean and his daughter said that they would see Crooks at least once a week, often when Crooks was walking to work. Quote, you wouldn't have expected this, Dean SH00TER said. The parents and the family are all really nice people. Thomas Crooks graduated 2 years ago from Bethel Park High School. The Bethel Park School District confirmed he was included in a 2022 local news article about recipients of a National Math and Science Initiative Star Award at the public high school, which enrolls about 1,300 students. Jason Kohler attended Bethel Park High School with Crooks and said that he remembers the 20-year-old sat alone at lunch and was bullied almost every day. Kids picked on Crooks for wearing camouflage to class and his quiet demeanor, caller said. Since hearing Crooks had been named as the Uter, the caller has been speaking with classmates who knew him, most of whom are stunned by the news. It's really hard to comprehend, he said. Sean Eckert said he went to school with Crooks from 5th through 12th grade. He said Crooks always went by Tom. They shared classes together in elementary and middle. Eckert said Crooks, though fairly smart, was quiet and rarely spoke up. Eckert said Crooks did not seem to have many friends. He didn't recall Crooks being or playing any sports, being involved in any clubs or student groups, or going to popular campus events. He often wore hunting clothes, so Eckert assumed he hunted. No one in Eckert's group texts from high school seemed to know Crooks very well, he said. They were shocked that someone from their town had done this. They were even more surprised that it was Tom Crooks. The gaming-oriented online site Discord said Sunday that it had found an account that appeared to be linked to the Udine suspect. Remember when I told y'all that Thomas was giving me gamer vibes? Remember when people was like, oh, he's giving me LGBT vibes? I said, no, he's giving me gamer vibes. He's giving me like Brainiac and gamer vibes. And now it's being confirmed that, you know, he was really great at math and science. He won some awards. And apparently he had an online profile for the social media platform Discord. The site removed the account, which was rarely utilized and has not been used in months. We have found no evidence that it was used to plan this incident, promote violence, or discuss his political views, according to a statement from a Discord person, adding that the company will coordinate closely with law enforcement. Crooks was a member of the Clariton Sportsman Club, a Udine club about 8 miles from his home. It was a sprawling complex of 180 acres with rifle, pistol, and archery ranges, an area for dog training, and a clubhouse, according to the club website. An attorney for the club, Robert Boutte III, confirmed Crooks' membership in an email to US Today, but would not offer additional details. Bethel Park is a suburb of Pittsburgh and home to more than 32,000 people, about 1,000 fewer than 4 years ago, according to the latest census estimates. The majority white, mostly college-educated community has a median household income of $102,177, described as a charming retreat from the hustle and bustle of the big city. To its north, Bethel Park boasts tree-lined streets, friendly neighborhoods, and a low crime rate. Bethel Park is about 42 miles south of Butler, where the Trump rally was held. The leafy suburban street was alive with law enforcement overnight amid a multi-agency response to the Udine. A member of the Allegheny County Bomb Squad told reporters his team was headed into the house around midnight, but did not say why. 4 hours afterwards, the scene remained quiet, with deer passing under the police tape and an occasional neighbor stepping out of their house to see what was happening. John Wolf, a local construction superintendent who lives down the road, said he talked with several worried neighbors. Quote, "People are scared," Wolf said. Crooks has been positioned on a rooftop more than 100 yards from the rally site. Secret Service spokesperson Anthony, whatever that last name is, said law enforcement recovered an AR-style rifle from the scene. Joseph Price, special agent in charge of the ATF in Pittsburgh, said the weapon used by the Uter was a rifle. It was nothing special, he said in an interview in the parking lot of the Butler Township Municipal Building. Law enforcement is following up on a number of suspicious occurrences, said Lieutenant Call George Bivens of the Pennsylvania State Police, including accounts from witnesses who said that they tried to flag police about the activity of a person outside the rally moments before the Udine. The FBI said in a news release that the situation remains an active and ongoing investigation, and anyone with any information that may assist with the investigation is encouraged to submit photos and or videos online at fbi.gov/Butler or call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Okay, so there's a lot there. Now, what I didn't notice, and I'm not sure if all, what's going on, Poetic Flacco? Why only white folks using bullying as an excuse for their crazy crimes? We're gonna get into that. I did notice that a lot of the news outlets, at least initially, when they were referring to Thomas Matthew Crooks, were not citing him by his ethnicity. They were not using the word white male. I don't even really recall them using male. Also, I'm curious to know why hasn't the video that's circulating in question not have been addressed by media? The one of him in the blue shirt in the car, basically saying that he hates the Republican Party and Donald Trump, and that he is in fact, or they got the wrong guy. That video is very interesting because people were initially saying that the media had it wrong, that they had wrongly identified the OOTER, that this guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was not, and did a video claiming that he wasn't. But obviously that could not have been the case because Thomas Matthew Crooks is the young man who life was claimed by Secret Service. And that also means that the context of his statement, "You got the wrong guy," has something to do with something else. Unless Thomas Matthew Crooks was trolling the public and did a pre-upload that you can schedule out, because maybe he knew he was going to do this and he was just creating an offense tactic following his arrest and or death, because maybe he assumed that he would not live through this event, which I can't imagine that he thought he would, considering that he didn't even have any other tactical gear on. He did not have a bulletproof vest on. He did not at least wear a damn helmet, no nothing. I mean, he literally went in GUN blazing. So I assume he went in to die, that this was a suicide mission, if you speak, if you will. So I haven't heard anything or heard any of the media speak about that video, but I'm very interested to see what they think about that video and what do they make of his comment about "you've got the wrong guy." I'm not really sure when that video was also uploaded, because the platforms that were circulating the video didn't come from the original account. These were people who had like reshared, screen grabbed the video and then posted it on Twitter and posted it as shorts and everything. Matter of fact, let me see if I can actually bring up that video, because there was a lot of confusion initially, girl. We were scourging through damn mug shots and comparing eyebrows and shit. Girl, it was our mess. Let me see. Thomas Matthew Crooks, you got the wrong guy. See if I can find this video, because we saw it in a short. Is somebody gonna match my freak? I've been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty. Hold on, okay. YouTube girl, she's just a mess. Let me see if I can find it. Facebook. Hold on, wait. Thomas Matthew Crooks. You got the let me see, hate Republicans video. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Cause I've been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty. That song gets stuck in my head, girl. And now Chloe Bailey ass is about to do a remix. I mess. I can't find this video. Let me see here. I will pull up my last stream, but it is 7.5 hours worth of content, and ain't nobody got time for that either. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Oh, I think I found it. Is this
Thomas Matthew?
Okay, here it is. Okay, let me share this. What's going on? Hey Beverly Ward. Hey Tori. Hey Lorraine. What's going on, Dre? Finally caught alive in rocking for about 3 years. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Dre. Thank you all. Hey, Dovey, what's going on, love? Y'all make sure y'all thumbs up the video, because here's the video that was initially in question. Listen to this shit.
Is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans. I hate Trump. And guess what? You got the wrong guy.
Okay, so that's a weird ass video, considering that people were saying that this video was published after he was unalived. So this is what initially created all of the confusion around the identity of the SH00TER. People were saying that this wasn't Thomas Matthew, and this is how the other white male who had a few mugshots and long hair kind of got brought as a side-by-side comparison. But obviously it's been confirmed. It's beyond, you know, confirmation that he is in fact the SH00TER. So I'm just wondering, what is the real tea then about that video? Is he referring to something else? When was this video uploaded? Was this video actually uploaded after the fact? And what account? What was the original account that published this video? Nonetheless, rolling forward, getting into this whole bullying thing. You guys know that I am very much so anti-bullier. I will bully the damn bullies. With Matthew fitting the typical profile, girl, a social reject, a misfit, being bullied, etc., being a quiet person. You know what all that tells me? And this is across the board. I don't really give a damn about race. You know, this is the case for anybody who fits this description, who happens to be white, happens to be black, happens to be female, happens to be male, happens to be short, tall, blue, black. I don't give a damn. Is that the whole quiet piece is what's interesting to me, because what that really should make you think about is when people are really being like harassed and being menaced and being terrorized, whether that's on the workplace or whether that's by their peers or whether that's by their own families, and people are being like humiliated, and on top of that they're quiet and they don't speak, because this article said from one of his peers that Matthews was not much of a person who stood up for himself. You have to think about, where does that rage go? Because if a person is not bringing expression to the things that hurt them, then that means that they're storing that emotion or emotions somewhere else. They're cataloging it. And typically, once you compartmentalize like a lot of internalized hurt, a lot of internalized inferiority, it typically will become aroused and stimulated under the proper conditions. That could be just a chance encounter. That could just be waking up one day on the wrong side. That could be a common argument that becomes the catalyst for a bitch to go completely and utterly Columbine. It could be damn near anything at that moment. And typically it's something minuscule that will trigger this mountain of feeling that has gone without a voice, that has gone without expression, that has gone without healing, that has gone without mediation. Like, we all know what internalized depression and voicelessness does to people's psyche and to people's physical bodies. And Y'all Not Fix My Life really put us up on game at the way that unspoken trauma can turn into a lot of unconscious toxic pathology and behavior that shows up in intimate relationships. It shows up in a lot of interpersonal relationships. It can show up in your dating experience. It can show up in your social skills. It can show up in self-harm. It can show up in just so many ways. So there is a literal science and reality to the impact that bullying and or repression and suppression has on the human psyche, right? But that's also compounded with everything going on with Trump's coming administration and this terrifying mandate for leadership and Project 2025 manifesto that is pretty much going to be the elite version of humanity, which does not involve a lot of us. Okay, it involves very few of us and a whole lot of them instead. So I'm wondering if between this guy who has been authored by his peers, by his teachers, and even by his employers to have been a very sweet person, never badmouth anybody, super kind individual, was really a good guy, but had been through trauma, internalized in a complex way. And then as it relates to this election, that probably is compounding and triggering up grave defense mechanisms in this person who has already felt so defenseless, right? Already felt so defenseless in life. Once again, his own peers said he never stood up for himself. He never spoke up. He was constantly bullied. I saw another article today that was more nuanced about the type of bullying that he experienced. He was bullied for his clothing because apparently he used to wear like wide-legged pants and SpongeBob SquarePants t-shirts, you know, and wear what I guess his peers would probably consider to be very goofy attire, very childish attire. He was allegedly bullied also for his hygiene, for the way he smelled, for his aesthetics, etc. We could see that he also had braces. He also had a crazy underbite. So, you know, there was a lot there. So I'm wondering if this coming election really aroused this quiet person who had taken a lot of shit in his life, who had endured a lot of unsolicited, unwarranted negativity from society, from his peers, is now under the ingredients of the perfect storm, decides to take action and to speak out in one of the most graphic and extreme ways one can speak out. And I also find that to be atypical of people who have lacked having a voice. It's atypical that people who struggle to have a voice, once they find a voice, within that first phase, they typically are like very rambunctious because they haven't had an opportunity to refine their egos. They haven't had an opportunity to refine their voice. So it usually comes out with them being very aggressive. They may be very, very well-meaning, but they may also do a little bit of an overkill when they are initially finding their voice. You know, the pendulum swings from an extreme left to an extreme right. And it's interesting thought to think about whether Thomas Matthew Crooks was just as scared as so many other minority people. Because as I've been saying, as much as Black people can see themselves in this manifesto, Project 2025, as much as women, as queer people can find themselves and see themselves in this manifesto, so can white people, because this manifesto is a classism manifesto. This manifesto is really about depopulation and getting rid of the middle and underclass altogether, which encompasses both Black and brown and white people. And I wonder if somewhere between internalized trauma and a call to action, did this inspire the actions of Mr. Thomas Matthew Crooks? This is one of my really big issues and ills with classism in particularly, because this manifesto, if given an opportunity to be implemented and to be projected onto society, is actually going to create a lot more Thomas Matthew Crooks than we can imagine. You absolutely cannot mistreat people economically, politically, and socially, and then think that they are going to give you Christ energy in return. You cannot think that you can strip people of their resources, strip people of their rights, of their liberties, of their livelihood, strip people of a reasonable sense of security, and then still expect that individual to, or those individuals, I should say, to reciprocate decency and civilness towards you. That's just not a logical explanation. And no community has ultimately acted that way under pressure. The Black community, we've knucked and bucked, which is what gave rise to the Black Panthers, is what gave rise to the civil rights movements. It's what the LGBT community has done, knucked and bucked. It's what the women's community has done, knucked and bucked. And this is the even more extraordinary thing about mistreatment and abuse. While it would be ideal for people to be reasonable in their rebuttal, be reasonable in their kickback against pressure or against the threat of an economic and or social apocalypse, to be decent, you ultimately have no idea what the fuck you're getting when you put people's back up against the wall. For Mr. Thomas Matthew Crooks to be a registered Republican and to be willing to off one of his own, someone representing his political party, lets me know that Mr. Matthews was not with Donald Trump shit, and that once again, the Republican Party, like the Democratic Party, like any other party, is not a what's the word I'm looking for? I just used the word. Start with an M. What's the word I'm looking for? I just used the word, and my brain completely lost it. That we are not a monolith. There it is. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Holy daughter. We're not a monolith. And here's the thing. I saw a press conference that I'm going to review later today that said, hey, well, you know, if you don't like Donald Trump, if you know, that doesn't mean you have a right to incite violence. It doesn't mean you have a right to blow his head off. Facts. I don't believe that people should be managing their issues by way of fatalities and unaliving each other, for sure. I mean, what type of society would that be? However, in the case of Donald Trump, this is a unique circumstance because we're also not going to be able to act like Donald Trump has not been a part of legislation and government mandates that led to the unaliving of people. This man hid Carisha 19 from us for 3 months. Nurses, doctors, practitioners lost their licenses and lost their jobs as a result of speaking out about the nature of Carisha 19 and the juice that was implemented to cure and heal Carisha 19. The narrative in the Trump administration changed in terms of what should be done to counteract Carisha 19. Everything from insert bleach into your veins, wear a mask, wash your hands, wash your ass, social distance, all things that we now know didn't combat Carisha 19. people were still getting infected and getting sick who had taken every type of juice, every recommended juice there was. People lost their lives taking the juice. People lost their licensing. People lost their livelihood. People lost their social media privileges. You had pseudo doctors like Dr. Fauci and pseudo intellectuals like Bill Gates being pedestalized over actual medical doctors, nurses, and practitioners. So even though Donald Trump may not have gotten his ass out here and pulled, and toted around an AK-47 this and 8 that and pulled the trigger of a GUN, it did not mean that he did not use his administration to nonetheless lead to the economic, social, political, and material deaths of people. So if you ask me, it really is one killer for another killer. See, I'm not confused about that. I'm very clear about the fact that Thomas Matthew Crooks employed a literal rifle to express his violence, while the person he tried to unalive utilized his administration and his administrative power to bring about violences of all kinds. So if you ask me, it is well within Americans' right to be terrified of Donald Trump. People lost people they're never going to be able to see again because of the way things were done, because of the things that were implemented. Not to mention that Donald Trump brought into stocks regarding the juice. And this is what we mean by agents of chaos. These people create the very problems that they come through the smoke acting as the problem solvers for. They make sure to monopolize and capitalize off the front end and the back end because they have the societal power to do so. They have the societal power to play these Hunger Games and to play these chess piece games with us. And Joe Biden is not any better because his administration followed in the wake of the pandemic. And he too was pushing the juice. Effective and safe, effective and safe, effective and safe. And yet military personnel and doctors and lieutenants are saying that we're not even going to have a functioning, healthy military in 5 years as a result of the propaganda and the publicity and marketing behind the juice. Safe and effective. So in this situation, it's hard for like many to feel sorry for Trump. It shouldn't have to be this way, but let's also be clear. Thomas Matthew Crooks is responding to a diabolical issue. Donald Trump would have had all of his ear had he been proactive and loving and sensible regarding his country at the time. And he wasn't. And there are things that none of these politicians will ever be able to apologize for because the blood on their hands is so thick and so immense. People lost their lives. People lost their loved ones as a result of the intentionality and the recklessness of all of these fucking administrations. And you think that American people are supposed to continue to just sit back and be cute and just want to vote and be civil while you are a political maniac, while you yield your administrative power in the most cruel and inhumane of ways? And Americans are just supposed to sit under that rulership and live under those realities painted to us by our political leaders, and only have light and love energy for them while they employ dark energy from the dark dimension. The only people I feel sorry for are the people who got clipped and got hit residually. The people who were casualties of war at that rally. I'm not empathetic or sympathetic at all toward Trump. And if their plan, according to this manifesto, is to create an even larger majority, lower class, there's going to be more Thomas Matthew Crooks to manifest. And I don't understand how they don't know that unless that's what they want, because maybe they intentionally want to bring about civil upheaval so that they can also do their fair share of depopulating through a civil war as well. Because maybe it's just another avenue to reduce the population, which is gaslighting the public into open violence so that they have the justifiable means to then pow us all the fuck down, because it's not like they want us here any fucking way, because there's no way you can expect to bring about inflation, create a larger underclass, and then not think that people aren't going to be losing their fucking minds, not only in terms of any potential hypothetical assassination attempts, but also the fact that people are going to literally be robbing each other blind. But you know who they're going to be targeting more than each other? They're going to be targeting the rich. They're going to be targeting the 10%, the 20%. They're going to be targeting the people who have the resources. You can already see this through all of the viral videos of young people robbing Macy's, robbing Apple, robbing these stores blind, and coming in the droves. Coming in by the bundle in these stores. Snatching shit clean off the racks, clean off the mannequins, and haul-assing. They just had to shut down a few CVS's and Walgreens because of the issue of theft. Businesses won't even be able to stand. Walmart has had to shut down plenty of their department stores as a result of theft. If you are going to bring about a larger underclass, it's not going to just be poor, broke-ass folk who are going to be greatly afflicted. Y'all must have some damn bunkers or a whole nother island as 10%ers and 20%ers that y'all plan on living on, baby, because it's going to be y'all Bentleys, y'all homes, y'all communities, y'all wealth that's going to be frauded and schemed against. But it's just simply illogical to expect people to play nice with you while you take literal food off their table and literally also pose as a threat to their mortality. I think that in this country, we obviously don't have enough conversation around mental health, around the cause and effect to fucking with people's mental, the cause and effect of fucking with people's lives, the cause and effect of fucking with people's well-being. We're talking about their actual lives, not their egos, but their actual tangible lives, the lives that they have to provide for, the lives they have to actually sustain, the roof over their head, the food on their fucking table, their health care, etc. And the narcissism and sociopathic psychopathicness of Trump to think that he's going to be able to enter the group chat again and expect it to be arms wide open. Baby, you better expect a lot more. Thomas Matthew fucking Crooks III, baby. You better expect a lot more. Men of your skin tone, of your ethnicity, in wide-legged pants and SpongeBob SquarePants t-shirts on motherfucking rooftops and running across the goddamn lawn of the White House. Because I already told y'all, baby, that you know what, our people, black and brown people, we may be passive as fuck. We may be, you know, it may take us forever in this new generation of black folk, you know, to stand on motherfucking business. But let me tell you who the fuck ain't putting up with nothing. It's gonna be motherfucking white Americans. White Americans are gonna be the people who ain't putting up with shit. They gonna be the ones running up in the motherfucking White House. They gonna be the motherfucking ones running up and positioning themselves on a goddamn rooftop, baby. They gonna be the ones, baby, to cease and desist your motherfucking ass. That's who we can count on, baby, to make sure that it's a 4th of July in this country every goddamn day. Because white America is not going to let this happen. And I think what Thomas Matthew Crooks showed, at least minority communities and black and brown communities, is that everybody white ain't on the side of white. Everybody white ain't on the side of white unrighteousness. Everybody who's white ain't on the side of white wickedness. Everybody who white ain't on the side of white evil and what they perceive to be white evil. Yeah, in an ideal world where people are playing fair, the violence should never be employed as a means to resolve conflict. But that's in a world where everybody is playing fair. We don't live in that motherfucking world, unfortunately. And we ain't never lived in that world in this country, unfortunately. You can't even compare the plight of an everyday poor American to a privileged, all-white millionaire who is running for second term, who has political power. So even beyond the whole bullying thing, like, oh, he was bullied. Okay, yeah, but most people have been bullied. You know, most of us have experienced our fair share of bullying. There needs to be conversation about that and what bullying can turn people into, because bullying doesn't turn everybody into a diamond. Everybody don't transmute bully energy the same way. And I'm also not going to let Trump forget that he bullies as well, that his whole party bullies. Everybody who does not benefit from Trump is being bullied. Especially the people who already don't have the means and don't have the wherewithal and don't have the resources. One person just bullying Crooks by tugging on his pants leg, while another bully is bullying on him by tugging on his liberties, tugging on his freedom, tugging on his economy, tugging on his health care, tugging on his education, tugging on his livelihood. And now they want people to feel sorry for Trump because he got bullied by somebody who was bullied. because violence beget violence. Well, the Bible been telling y'all that you reap that which you sow. And you know what, Lisa? Somebody, said, to go that far, you can't be wrapped too tight. No, you can be. Because that's what fear and terror and powerlessness can manifest. I equally think that Trump has to be not wrapped too tight. Because remember, I'm going to echo his words. There are good people on both sides. You got to not be wrapped too tight to literally be in charge of 99.9% of the American people and to utilize your advantages and your privileges to bring about death and harm to people in every way imaginable. Not only did this man lie to the country, commit treason, cheat on his wife while she was pregnant, reveal, expose, and disseminate classified documents and information to the general public, to his friends, homeboys, and his foreign ass friends. Grab women by the genitals, disrespect veterans, play whole games with a whole dictator who was threatening to nuke the fuck out of our asses, overhaul all of the protective legislation that Obama administration had put into place, done the equivalent of what he claimed Hillary did and was going to have her investigated and locked up for. But you have the audacity to circle the block a second time around and to bring about a reality that is going to bring about suffering for the majority of people just to get your fucking lick back. Yeah, Trump got to be wrapped not too motherfucking tight. And who else ain't wrapped too motherfucking tight are all the deaf-tone, hillbilly-ass fucking weirdos who are standing behind him thinking that he's going to put their asses in a knapsack and take them along to the promised land with him. Which is why I had to read the manifesto myself for us all, so that white Americans can be informed that they too are going to have an opportunity to know what it feels like to be a nigga in America themselves. Y'all are going to finally have y'all shot too, baby, to know what it feels like to be on the other side of power. You finally are going to know what it feels like to not live in the big house on the plantation. You're going to have your opportunity too. Thinking that you're getting ahead because you white and therefore all things are right. That manifesto is hardly just for black and brown people, women, and LGBT folk. It's hardly for them. It's hardly just for us. It's for them too. Anybody want the link? If not, I think I'm complete. At a perfect hour mark. Age of Aquarius, yes, everything's becoming clear. The protection complexion. So, it's been over the top. Yeah, it's been over the top. You know, I still feel traumatized from the fucking last administration. From the last time his ass ran. I don't feel like I even had time to wake up from that shit, the way that white people ass were outside during this man's administration. I mean, I literally remember that white people were feeling so emboldened to finally have their Ku Klux Klansmen, you know, and to have a white man in the whiteness of it all in the White House, girl, that they wasn't even allowing niggas to turn around in their driveway to bust a U-turn without a cap being popped in here. I remember white people were finding the most asinine, ignorant, indignant, as immature, unnecessary reasons. Hold on, yeah. Unnecessary reasons to just fatality black and brown people. Black folk couldn't even accidentally merge into their damn lane without them pulling out damn rifles and shit and shooting your ass right behind the wheel. You couldn't even be black and be a FedEx worker and safely deliver to white neighborhoods without them thinking you were thugging. Even though you had on a FedEx fucking uniform and you're dropping off their motherfucking medication and their fucking insulin and ended up popped in your ass. Black children couldn't even turn around and accidentally knock on the wrong door. God forbid you get lost and knock on the wrong door, or you seek, a house to give you instructions without you being blasted through the screen door. I think we have forgotten exactly what it was fucking like to live under the Trump administration. I ain't talking about that's the way it always was. I'm talking about that shit was quantified. It was quantified. The issue was the quantification of the violence. It was the quantification of the lack of security, the quantification of the issue of white fear and white privilege absolutely swallowing up black and brown people. Baby, we didn't have a chance in motherfucking hell when Trump was ruling the fucking land. And of course, the only people who get to be far removed and to think that it's about to be a jolly old time in the neighborhood again are the people who weren't getting shot on the highways, aka white people. The people who were not being shot through screen doors as a result of needing directions or ending up in the wrong house, aka white people. Of course, the people who think it's about to be a jolly good time and are ready to rush to the goddamn voting polls are the people who has always been safe for, who could always put on their yoga pants and jog through any motherfucking neighborhood, could always skip a fucking loo. Baby, we reported on so much motherfucking shit during that era because it was so much shit going the fuck on during Trump's administration that at one point, bitch, I had to stop altogether. Because at one point, there wasn't even anything else to say. All we could tell our people was, bitch, y'all better be strapped up and ready to swing and bang in return, bitch, because these folk are not playing with our motherfucking asses. There was shit in the fucking news all day, every fucking day concerning some pale bitch unaliving a black and brown person, a black and brown child. So, everybody who believe in voting, you better vote your ass on down. If you don't believe in voting, baby, I encourage us to start assembling, continue to assemble and galvanize with each other and our allies alike, and produce our own coalitions and our own safety mechanisms to encourage a quality of life for ourselves. Continue to figure out also outside of fucking politics what are ways we can advance our world, allies in tow. We need to be having outside of politic dialogue, outside of voting dialogue. The world don't stop motherfucking spinning because you casted a fucking vote. And there are still many fucking issues: poverty, homelessness, economic disparity, domestic violence, black femicide. There are so many things that we have to continue to fight about outside of the voting polls. There's a conversation about how to get back somewhat to the village attitude, so that we're not minding our fucking business while some child is being abused right behind the wall, so that we're not minding our business while some poor woman is screaming to the top of her lungs, fighting for her fucking life at the hands of her stupid ass ninja. So that we're not minding our business while the dope dealers and the drug lords take over the street corners. There's a lot of shit. Self-policing. There's a lot of conversations that we just gonna have to continue to be had about how to come into formation. It don't end in politics. Them hoes pass the laws. We live on the ground. And we know ultimately laws are just written word that fall on deaf ears if there's no accountability and substance that's going to go into the implementation of those laws. We got to also decide to be the law. And ain't nothing going to be easy. Ain't shit going to be pretty. Some sacrifices are going to have to be made. We're going to have to get over this whole snitching issue. Because you know what happens when you don't snitch? You find out that that kid from the neighborhood you ain't seen in a week is in a bird cage in his mother's boyfriend's bedroom and been dead for 5 of those 7 days, rotting away. You know, snitching, not snitching clearly ain't benefiting the community. You rather not snitch on the people that make it unsafe for your elderly grandparents and your elderly parents and the most vulnerable class, including children and women, to be able to go outside, to be able to get in and out of their homes, from to and fro. Their chores and their tasks and their daily obligations safely. And if you don't trust the police, we don't have to. Once again, we can form our own policing and neighborhood watching. You know how many redneck towns self-govern? You know how many backwood communities self-govern, operate on a street code? Baby, it doesn't hardly stop at the polls. Shit gonna have to change. And we're gonna have to change and bring about the utopia and the promised land by way of making ourselves responsible for every shift in the pixel. Ain't no leadership, ain't no single leadership. This is everybody's job. This is the whole community's job, allies and advocates alike. So I'm gonna get up out of here because I got shit to do. I'll be bringing y'all that Candace Owens, Don Lemons, and that review of the press conference following Trump's ooting. What's going on, Positive Queen? Hey y'all. Later today, I ain't want to be here long because I knew I was gonna be up for a while getting to some work. I just wanted to come and report to you guys on this. Tell me y'all thoughts. Lay it out to me in the comment section. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.